Hello.
Justin,
What?
hey,
Hey, what's up, Eddie? What's up? It's good to
not
see you.
much, man. Yeah, good to see you too. And
Oh,
welcome everybody. Welcome vets.
yeah,
Hope
welcome. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Yeah.
I hope everybody had a good holiday. And now we're back at it. And wanted to first start out with giving some shout outs. So if anybody if you guys would like to put some comments in where you served, the years of service and branch of service, and we'll give a shout out to you guys.
Yeah,
Um,
right on. Yeah, and just feel free to drop that in the chat. We'll definitely be looking through that. Today's class, today's Facebook Live is hosted by myself, Coach Justin, as well as Coach Eddie. We're excited to get into this. Definitely going to be talking about some good stuff here today, right?
Yeah, really good topics, really common topics that we'll bring up, and um, I see a couple of vets already commenting. Tim, U.S. Navy.
Awesome.
Let's see here,
Yeah.
7783. Awesome.
Yeah, got Jonathan
Welcome.
Park from USMC. Yeah, 2002 to 2012. Right
Nice.
on, right on. Very active
Steve,
chat today. Yeah,
Steve Davidson, 94 to 2010. That's a good run. U.S. Navy assigned to U.S. Marine Corps, also Air Force. Awesome.
nice.
Welcome. You had a wide range of responsibilities there.
Yeah, man, we got
Nice.
all the branches popping in. This is awesome.
We do. Corey, Air Force vet, welcome. Charlie, Army 65 to 68, Vietnam vet. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Hey,
Welcome.
what awesome. Oh, thank you for the shout out, Richard. Appreciate it. Excited to get started in the process with you, sir. It's awesome.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah.
Let's see here.
Um.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got Jerry Kimberlin, Oklahoma Vietnam vet, U.S. Navy Seabees, 60% with an
Awesome.
upcoming CMP. Awesome, man. Definitely get with your coach
Yes.
to get you prepped for that.
Yeah, and for those of you in the chat, if you don't have a coach yet, you're interested in this process, we have the Elite program, right? Feel free to jump on the VA Claims Insider website. You can sign up from there, and you'll get paired up with one of the coaches that we have. It could even be me or Eddie, right? So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, definitely looking forward to helping out as many people as we can. This would be awesome.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we're here to coach and provide resources and give vets what they need so that they can get what they deserve.
Yeah. Strategy, education, medical evidence, right? SEM method. That's what
Yep,
we're here to do. Yeah.
for sure. Oh,
All
we
right.
got somebody from Hawaii, Bill, U.S. Navy, 1980 to 2011. Welcome.
Very cool. And the chat is blowing up. This is
It
awesome.
is. Oh, John Richards, 78 to 89, now 100% P&T with help from VACA. Awesome.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. That is huge. That is incredible.
Very huge. And glad that you were able to get what you deserve, and you know, hopefully you can pay it forward and kind of let people know, the process with us.
Definitely. Awesome. We got some of our own coaches here in the chat as well. Shout out
Yeah.
to Chuck Daniels. Right on.
Hey Chuck, always good to see Chuck.
Yep.
Oh, I got my brother David Hall, U.S. Navy 84 to 94. Welcome, welcome.
Awesome.
Always awesome working with him.
Very cool. So yeah, let's oh
Yeah,
yeah, right on Stacy Allen right there. Shout outs to Stacy. One of
nice.
our yeah, very cool.
He's
And
a
yeah,
resident expert.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll go into kind of just introducing myself and my service and how I became an elite member and slash coach. And then I'll pass it to you, uh, Justin, and then we can get the disclaimer and we can get moving. All right.
Yeah, sounds
Um,
good.
so yeah, my name is Eddie, and I served in the U.S. Army from 2000 to 2014. About 6 years of it was active, and I did some National Guard with that also. Did a couple of deployments, and then afterwards, right, or even during, just like every vet, I thought, well, let's see what they can give me, and I'll be happy with that. Uh, so I was underrated for years until I had a friend refer me over to VACI. I became a member and quickly found out that I was severely underrated. Um, and within the first, claim or two, got myself up to 90%, and
Ooh.
yeah, and still moving forward. And I was lucky enough to, along the process, also get an interview. This was about 2 years ago now,
Right
2 years
on.
and a couple months, and I've been helping vets ever since, and been loving it. Wouldn't do anything else in the world, honestly. So
Definitely.
glad to
I,
be
I'm
here.
Yeah, definitely one of the most rewarding jobs you can have, right? It's great to work one on one, help people out, and just to give a little bit about myself. So I'm not a veteran myself; I'm a civilian, right? I came to VACI to work because I knew what we do actually helps people, right? What we're doing is creating life change. There are a lot of people out there who are either looking to get their conditions recognized, but also just really need that help in general. So I have to say, definitely one of the most rewarding things I've ever been a part of. I love what we do. I love getting to interact with everyone on a daily basis, and I'm just excited to be able to impart as much knowledge as we have to help in this process, right? So yeah, with that being said, let me jump into the disclaimer, and then we can get straight to the topics that everybody's excited to hear about, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, real quick, we are not accredited agents, VSOs, attorneys, or any other entity recognized by the Department of Veteran Affairs, the VA, and we are not affiliated with the VA in any way. VA Claims Insider is an education-based coaching and consulting company for disabled veterans exploring eligibility for increased VA disability benefits and who wish to learn more about that process. VA Claims Insider also connects veterans with vetted independent medical professionals in our referral network for medical examinations. All right. So
awesome.
yeah, today's
Hey,
topic, right? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. No, I was gonna say, Justin, you wanna kind of let's explain a little bit about what the SEAM strategy or the SEAM method is, and the
Yeah.
one-on-one coaching, and then some of the classes we offer before we jump into the
Oh,
the actual topic. But I just wanted to, like you said earlier, right? SEAM. When you get signed up, and like you said before, if you're not already an elite member, we'll put up that information so if you guys can take a look at it, and hopefully sign up and get with one of many coaches that are very knowledgeable. Um, so yeah, when we get a new veteran, of course we're gonna try to coach them in the right direction. First thing is getting a strategy, right?
yes.
Um, Seeing what the possibilities are, right?
Right.
Um, Next is providing that education to the veteran, with the enormous amount of resources that we can offer through video, YouTube, PDF, all things that we can offer, right? Including ourselves.
Right, right.
Um, and then getting that medical evidence if needed, right? And that's where possibly telemedica can come in, right?
Yeah.
So um, just wanted to highlight those things, right? And then if you can maybe talk a little bit about the one-on-one coaching and
Oh,
how that
for
goes.
Yeah. So, many of you have probably been through this process before to varying degrees of success, right? Maybe you've been denied for a claim. Maybe you don't know where to start, right? But at any rate, I think what we offer that helps out the most is having someone in your corner, right? Someone that you can rely on, someone that you can go to for information. And I think that's where the SEM method really kicks in, right? So when we talk about strategy, not every single condition under the sun is going to be a good idea to go for disability, right? And this is what we're here to help you figure out. Right? So when it comes to strategy, be open, right? You might have an idea coming to us about what you want to work on, But we're going to open up that conversation, not to tell you, no, we don't want to do that, or that's a bad idea necessarily, right? But to figure out with you what's going to be most effective in your situation. Every single person's different, and every condition can show up in varying ways or varying degrees depending on who's dealing with that, right? So strategy is so key, right? It's really important. The next part past strategy is, like we were saying, education, making sure you know what you need to know as a part of your claim. At the end of the day, when we talk about claims, when we talk about conditions, it's all on you. It's your condition, it's your disability, it's what you are going through. So you want to really be educated on what you know as a part of your claims and conditions that you're dealing with, right? And lastly, just like Coach Eddie was talking about with medical evidence, if it's required or if it's necessary for your claim, hey, we'll talk about that. We'll figure out what that's going to be, right? So when we go over the SEM method, right? Strategy, education, medical evidence, these are all keys towards success in helping you with your claims, right? And when we talk about one-on-one coaching, right? We are coaches. We're not going to put any claims for you or anything like that, but we're here to be in your corner, to make sure you know what you need to know, to answer any questions you have, to support you through this process, right? So if you're interested, if you're even curious, you're not sure, right? Sign up for the Elite program, right? Set up a call with us, set up a free discovery call. Figure out what your options are. Find out what's on the table at the very least, right? We're all incredibly happy to work with you and talk with you in terms of, what the possibilities are, right? And,
Sure.
so as a part of that, we're definitely going to jump into giving you some information today on musculoskeletal conditions. It's a big one that a lot of people are affected by. And I would say, Eddie, I think you can even shed some light on that from some personal experience as well, correct?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is one of the issues that actually I deal with and I was service connected for was lumbar issues. And um as you can see, there's a lot of different musculoskeletal, and when we say that, we mean things like you know, sprains, strains in the arms, legs, hips, back, neck, joints, all those things, right? Those are very common. In fact, we have a blog of the uh, top 10 service connected conditions. And in that list, there's definitely some of these to include the lumbar,
Yeah.
the ankle, things like that, right? And the amount of claims that are submitted with those is astronomical, right? Um, Now, having a successful claim, that's a different story.
Yeah.
That's where that SEAM method comes in, right? Um, you have to have that strategy that your coach can assist with by looking at your medical evidence that you have, seeing if there's any gaps, looking and seeing, what other routes you can take with the strategy, right? And then give you that education, right? Like our blogs, our other resources that we have specifically for what your strategy is, and then the gap that you're trying to fill, that nexus possibly with the medical evidence given from Telemedica, right? So
Yeah.
did I know this when I first got out and got luckily service connected for my lumbar? No, I did not. Um, Now that I know, and now that and after I joined, I got a handful of other service connected because I learned that the strategy to do that,
Yeah.
um, and I'm glad I did because they're all warranted, right?
Yeah.
Because of my lumbar issues, there's secondary conditions, right, that can be associated with that. So these are things that I did not know, and a lot of the veterans I work with don't know until we start talking and looking at everything.
Right.
Um, and like I said, if any of this sounds familiar, if any of this holds truth to you, definitely try that discovery call. See, like Justin said, what's on the table for you? Is this something that's possible? Do you have these issues, or think you had these issues during service and want to see if it's a possibility to get these service connected, right?
Yeah.
Um, but
And
yeah, I'll hand it off to you to see what you got to say.
yeah, I just wanted
Justin.
to add one quick thing to that as well, which is, we're going to talk about a few conditions today, right? If anything sounds familiar to you, that's something that you personally might be dealing with. If you are not diagnosed for your condition, right, that is one of the most important parts of the Kaluza triangle, meaning the 3 requirements that are required for service connection, which is a diagnosis. And Eddie, I'm sure you can attest to that with some of your conditions yourself, right? So, to quote our fearless leader, Brian Reese, get your butt to the doctor. If you haven't gone to the doctor yet to talk to them about the conditions you're interested in, make sure you get to your doctor, talk to them about what's going on, reflect how often the condition's bothering you. How bad does it get for you? What's the pain like? How long does it usually last for? Give your doctor that type of information so that they know how to help you, right? And when you can confirm a diagnosis, you're already off to a good start, right? That's
Yeah,
definitely something that's necessary. Yeah.
that's a great point. And I want to just add to that because I do work with a lot of veterans that, um, we all normalize it. Well, I just dealt with it for years. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
now go to the doctor and let them deal with it. Get your butt to the doctor and get that checked out and diagnosed because when you normalize something, it doesn't mean that it's not happening.
Right.
So that's of course number one, right? And the method is get that current diagnosis because without it, honestly, you can't go any further.
Yeah.
Um, so great point, Justin. Great point.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to highlight also a couple of things as far as like not just uh, the range of motion type of things, but also understanding like arthritis
Yeah.
as part of the discussion, right? So, and again, I'm looking through our blogs. This is how I get my resources is through VACI blogs. And I mean, the VA rating for arthritis can be anywhere from 20 to 60%. Actually, possibly 100%, depending on the incapacitation that it gives a veteran. So these things can definitely be something that can get you a very high percentage. Uh, but step one, get to the doctor because without that, you can't even, um, you know, get to this point, right? So,
Right.
um, and if you want to kind of explain a little bit of how range of motion and the pain is associated with this, Justin?
Oh, totally. Yeah. So, when we talk about range of motion, that's all about your ability to, move, right? What sort of limitations you might be facing with physical movement related to the conditions that you're dealing with, right? So, when we talk about arthritis, it can cover a wide range of different types of arthritis, right? Rheumatoid arthritis, degenerative arthritis, traumatic arthritis, even, right? And all these things cause pain under movement. And that's something that the VA is really concerned about when it comes to these conditions. So if any of you are coming up with any compensation and pension exams towards, any of these musculoskeletal conditions, not just arthritis, but, back conditions, neck pain, cervicalgia, cervical strain, right? Things like this. When it comes to range of motion, they want to test what your limitations are, right? So when you're in that CMP, there's a couple things to pay attention to. Number one, if they're asking you to, bend down and touch your toes, right? Or, move your arms or any kind of movements they're asking you to do, they're testing to see what the angle is, how much you're able to flex and move, right? So a huge important one, and I think Eddie, you probably back me up on this too, which is don't fight through that pain. Okay. This
Right.
is the disabilities process. This is not the prove how much pain you can take process, right? So if they're asking you to touch your toes, and hey, you're feeling some level of discomfort, you're starting to feel a little bit of pain, stop your movements, right? That's kind of where your limits are, possibly, right? So
hmm
make sure you make that clear during your exams. But that's what range of motion is about. It's a accessibility in terms of your movement, right? So um, be honest and open about where your limitations are, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, and I think Coach Eddie, you've been through CMP for that yourself, correct?
that's correct. And it's funny you say that because a lot of us, like myself, are like, oh, I could touch my toes, and probably the rest of the day I'll be limping, or I'll have my sciatic act up or something, right? But like you said, right, it's not about what uh movement you could do with the pain. It's where's that limitation at, right?
Right.
Where does that pain start? That's where you need to communicate to the examiner, right? And these are things that veterans can get with their coach about, specifically on their claims.
Yeah.
That's what, the whole one-on-one coaching will we can coach you through the strategy, coach you through the submission of the claim, and then coach you through the exams, to make sure that I always tell my veterans, I want to make sure that you're good to go and you have no questions before any of this, so that you can be as successful and as least amount of uh, stress beforehand, right? Because it's going to be stressful. It's just natural.
Yeah.
But how can we ease some of that stress by you being prepared? You know,
Right.
so
And giving a little bit of that insider knowledge too, right? Just like sometimes all you need is just one or two tips to know exactly what to do. So, especially when we talk about range of motion, that can be a huge determining factor in what kind of rating you get, right? So again, it's all about being honest, right? You don't want to lie about anything you're doing. You always want to stick to the truth of what you're experiencing. And hey, if your experience is that moving a few inches forward is going to cause you a little bit of pain when you're doing that range of motion, be truthful
hmm
to that, because I would say, if you're wondering why your ratings are so low for some of these conditions, that could have been one of the factors,
hmm
so again, sign up with us, speak with us, we can help you figure out what some of those little missing elements could have been, right?
yeah,
um, yeah.
for sure.
And
And
mhm.
go ahead.
Oh, no, no, yeah, I just wanted to say, Eddie, you mentioned earlier about sciatic pain, right?
hmm
And how just that can even get aggravated or worsen just from making some of those movements, right? And do you mind shedding a little bit of light on kind of radiculopathy or how
Yeah,
that works? Yeah,
yeah, for sure. So again, I
yeah,
didn't know I even had it. I just knew that I had an issue with my lumbar that was caused by the military. Mostly because of aircraft landings. Um, it it got worse and worse, and they did connect me, and then I kept complaining about issues with my sciatic, which was pain down my leg. Um, it kind of like I always described it as like a lightning bolt, right? Also, it started to become where symptoms such as numbness, tingling, things like that, right? I didn't know that that was what they call radiculopathy, right? So once I got that addressed and diagnosed, I was able to build a strategy with myself and my coach at the time, and was able to secondarily connect that to my lumbar, which is what we're talking about today, right? But I just wanted to bring that up because, like you said, right, a lot of these things can definitely span out to different opportunities once you get them connected. So don't think just because you have your lumbar just at 10% that you can't get something else, right?
right.
Service connected with it, possibly maybe at a higher rating, right? It all depends on that range of motion and the
Mhm.
discomfort. Um, so yeah, just kind of an insider tip on that one, right? Didn't know what I didn't know until I was educated, with the seam method. So little personal note there, but I also wanted to give some examples of rating disabilities that can apply, right?
Yeah.
And this is all from the what they call the 38 CFR, uh, Part 4. Uh, let's see, Part 4 scheduler,
Yep.
and so we have a couple codes here that we wanted to highlight, just for this call right here. The 5237, the lumbosacral or cervical strain, which we've been talking about, right?
Mhm.
Code 5238, spinal stenosis. So those kind of things can also be service connected. 5239. I don't know if you.
Spondylosis.
There you go.
Spondylolisthesis. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Yep.
So I just wanted to mention some of these because I want people to know that a lot of these can be recognized, right?
Right.
As long as you have the right strategy, education, and medical evidence. So and these can be anything from being a direct service connection. So an example could be you were in an accident or some kind of incident during your military service,
Right.
and it caused this. Or it could be secondary, like we talked about, right? But for all that, right, if you think you are having any of these situations and you've just been on stuck on hold and haven't been able to um, advance in your claims process, at least give the discovery call a chance and see if one of the coaches can assist you with your claims. And then once you have that discovery call, if you're comfortable moving forward, then you know we'll, you'll be assigned to one of us coaches, and we'll guide you through, coach you through.
Definitely. And I just wanted to shed some light on secondary conditions, right? So it's a term that we throw around, but it's important to understand. So I know that a lot of veterans I speak to one on one are often like, well, these conditions didn't occur to me when I was on active duty, right? There's no way for me to link this directly to service. Hey, sometimes that's not the case, right? Especially when it comes to musculoskeletal conditions, all your bones and everything, it's all linked together, right? So chances are if one thing is off, it's probably throwing off another thing. And that's what we talk about when it comes to secondaries, right? How is something secondarily related to another condition that you may already be service connected for, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, chances are if you're having neck pain, hey, you probably also are having back issues. There's a possibility there, right? But again, just like Eddie was saying, we can figure that out, through the discovery calls or through the strategy sessions that we may have together with you. And I don't want to throw out anything too specific because it really just depends on how you're dealing with your conditions. Another thing I want to touch upon too is when we talk about these conditions, especially like, for example, let's talk about arthritis, right? The rating scale, like we mentioned earlier, you might receive 20%, 40%, 60%, possibly even 100%. And a lot of this is based exactly on how you are experiencing the condition. But here's the thing. If you want to really pay attention to how you experience these things, for example, the 20% level for arthritis would be if you're experiencing less than 3 incapacitating episodes per year, right? It gets that specific in the 38 CFR. And when we're talking about incapacitating episodes, it's like your arthritis has gotten so bad that you're laid out, right? You can't do anything, So the reason I bring this up is you want to start paying attention to how you experience your conditions, right? Make a note of those things. Inform your doctor, right? Start that conversation with them so that all this information and what you're dealing with is starting to get tracked. And that is all going to help you in the claims process in general. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll tell you, I don't enjoy going to the doctor myself. Eddie, I'm pretty sure that's probably not your favorite person to go see, right?
Right.
But just like Brian Reese is saying, get your butt to the doctor because it makes all the difference, right?
It does. It does. And I also wanted to kind of give an idea of what becoming an elite member is like. It's not only a one-on-one coaching, but you also have live classes throughout the week that are able to be attended. And we do them 3 times a day. The first one every morning, 8 a.m. Central, Coffee with Coaches as a member of the Elite program. It's a great place to kind of start the day with fellow vets. Talk about anything claims related or vet related.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a close knit community that definitely is a highlight of being an Elite member. And again, a lot of things like mental health Monday classes, the CMP prep classes, and then Elite member Q&A, right, where it's open to any kind of question claims related. Um, that you just want to kind of be a fly on the wall and maybe listen to others ask questions, because it's always good too, right, to learn from others.
Yeah.
And then we also have specialty classes, right, that are available. And I just wanted to highlight that because there's a lot with this program that you get, not just the one-on-one coaching. You get the live classes, you get all the resources, you get a insider portal once you sign up that will take you step by step by step with your coach.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm glad I'm part of the team, and I'm glad I've seen it develop to where it is now. And the many vets that we've helped has just been heartwarming for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think one of the greatest advantages working with us, working with VA Claims Insider, is that we're constantly updating our information, right? We're constantly making sure we get the newest info on what's going on, and that, I think that's what really makes us insiders, right? It's not only that we are researching, making sure that what we're saying is up to date, but we have a wealth of knowledge just in the diversity of coaches that we have, right? People from all walks of life, different backgrounds, different experiences. We even have people who are former Raiders, right, at the VA. So there's just so much knowledge to be shared, and that's what we're here to do, is really share that knowledge and make sure that you are equipped with what you need. Like we keep saying, SEM method, right? Strategy, education, medical evidence. These are the key factors towards winning your claim.
Yeah, that's definitely something I always repeat during my calls with the vets, is we got to have this stuff to make it a successful claim for sure. So, um, yeah, it's very, very important. And I kind of wanted to take a look at some of the questions in chat.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you have any that you've seen that maybe we can tackle. Let me take a look here.
Gotcha. So yeah, let's just take a quick look through here.
All right. So I think I'm gonna try to get one of these. So from Gary Mark, it looks like he's asking, can you explain bilateral conditions?
Mhm.
That's a good question. So what is a bilateral condition? So there's unilateral, which means either one limb or foot or something like that. And then there's bilateral, where they will consider both limbs in a disability, and they're very specific, depending on what part of the body the disability is, right? So from experience, right, let's just say plantar fasciitis, right? If it's bilateral or unilateral, um, it usually bumps up the rating if it's one or more, right? And then there's also what they call bilateral
Factor.
factors.
Yeah.
Yep, that give you that extra point,
0.5 or 1.5.
0.5%,
Yeah.
right? Which adds up at the end. So a lot of good stuff to discuss on that aspect. Definitely something that you could deep dive with a coach if you're a member. So like I said before, if you think that some of this is definitely uh, something you want to discover, make that discovery call, and see if this is a good fit for you.
Right on. Yeah. And I believe, let me look through here real quick.
Hmm.
There was yeah. So Richard Bellflower, I have neuropathy due to a degenerative arthritis injury for which I have a direct connection awarded, but was declined for neuropathy. They always want to connect neuropathy with diabetes, but I don't have diabetes. My A1C is fine. How can I contact a coach? Well, that's definitely going to be easy for us to contact a coach. You know, we can put up the website there. One of the easiest ways is go to vaclaimsinsider.com and sign up for the elite program. But to shed light, yeah, I hear what you're saying. You know, a lot of times you know your body better than anyone else, right? And what you're experiencing. And sometimes it's just about making sure that whoever is on the VA side is seeing what you're seeing too, right? And in your case, it might be getting a Nexus letter, right? It might be, you know, even writing a personal statement. It really just depends. I am excited for you to jump onto the elite program and get connected with one of our coaches so we can talk to you about what that next step is going to look like for sure.
Yeah, that would definitely be something specifically dive into with your coach, because we'll have all the information in front of us, and we'll be able to kind of see the reasoning for their decision, and kind of see what strategy we need, and then get you the education, and then if that medical evidence, the nexus, is needed, we then are able to send you that route. So you're definitely, I believe, a great candidate for that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Let's see here. Oh, I got one from Brian Laser. Excuse me if I chopped up that name, but I am 50% rating for TBI and scars, and 0 rating for neck and shoulders. I spent 4 years infantryman, never really went on sick call. So how can I connect the two? Great question.
Gotcha.
So first off, that 0% is not something to brush off. That 0% is actually them um, accepting that it was caused by your service.
Right.
It just wasn't at a compensatable rate. You can still do secondary claims on 0%. You can still do increases on 0%. And when I say secondary, it is possible to maybe get your shoulders connected secondary to the neck. So another great candidate for doing that discovery call and seeing if this is a good fit for you, because I definitely see promise in what you have showed us here. Definitely think that you'd be a good candidate for the program. So
yeah, definitely. And I got another question here from let's see, from Patricia Johnson, right? I was diagnosed with chronic back pain years ago, but in the last couple of years, I've been having shoulder and neck pain as well. Would that be considered a secondary claim? Well, you know, the first thing you want to understand is when we talk about secondary conditions, you have to have a primary condition that's related to service connected first, meaning, you know, you're receiving some kind of rating for that condition. Just like Eddie was saying, even if your condition is rated at 0%, it's still a platform for you to be able to do secondary conditions to. Now, when we talk about secondaries, there has to be some sort of medical link. It has to be able to be related to that condition in some way. We can't claim, it's not possible to do a secondary condition that doesn't relate to the primary condition at all, right? So in this case, I would say, yeah, that is a possibility, right? But again, you want to identify what elements are in place first in order for that to be successful. So I know we keep saying it, but the reason it's important is because, you know, we don't want to get into too specific details on here, depending on your personal case, right? So that's why these discovery calls, signing up for the elite program is going to help a lot, because we'll be able to work one-on-one with you to figure out if that is going to be effective for you, right? Do you want to go for neck pain or your back pain or your shoulders secondary to what you already have? You know, maybe there's something else that might even be more effective in your situation, right? But again, we won't know that until we talk to you.
yeah, for sure. And then I wanted to say also, if we don't get to your chat, it's not because we're not trying to pick it. It's we have a limited time, and we're trying to get to as many as we can to answer as many questions. And I did see one from Susan Miles. My husband now has a spinal stimulator implanted to help with his pain. Should I try to resubmit a secondary claim again? That one is very specific and case dependent. Um, Again, I picked the question because I believe it's got a lot of promise
Yeah,
with what you mentioned in there, and I definitely think a discovery call to see if it's something that we can assist with. And like Justin said in the beginning too, there may be things that you think you want to submit for, but then we discover other things while we're going through the strategy that may be higher value that you probably didn't know about. So I definitely think that as far as musculoskeletal, this would be a great uh, strategy and question to bring up to a coach for sure.
definitely. Yeah, and I'd like to just add something to that as well. Susan, you're already on the right track, right? You want to be considering what sort of things your husband is dealing with, right? Getting that spinal stimulator, things like that. They're all factors that will be important when it comes to doing a claim like that, right? I'd like to bring up Dwayne Bartlett had a question. Do you have to show back problems / issues during your service? So when we're talking about direct service connection, if you're trying to claim a back condition directly to your time in active duty, right? You definitely want to be able to show that you had some back problems or issues during service. One of the easiest ways is maybe you were injured and you were taken to the hospital. Maybe you went to sick call or went to go get checked out for a back condition yourself, in service complaints, things like that. Anything that's on record when you're on active duty related to the condition that you're trying to claim is all going to help as a factor towards going for service connection. So just to shed a little light on that, right? When it comes to service connection, there are 3 requirements you have to have, and they're established by it's established in the Kaluza triangle, meaning you have to have an in-service event or aggravation of a condition prior to going into service. You have to have a current diagnosis of the condition that you're trying to claim. And current, that's a key word, right? Something within the last year. Okay. So if you were diagnosed for something 10 years ago, chances are that diagnosis has changed or developed over the years, right? So get your butt to the doctor. All right. The third thing you have to have is a nexus. And nexus is just a fancy word for link. You got to show how the two relate to each other. How do you show what you're diagnosed for is related to what happened to you on active duty and service? So you're already in the right mindset, Dwayne, right? You want to start thinking about what kind of things happened to you when you're on active duty. And again, a lot of this kind of pre-planning or thinking about what's going on, when you have those strategy sessions with us, when you speak with us, it's already going to make that conversation a lot easier, a lot more efficient, right? We'll both be on the same page in terms of figuring out what's going to help you out the most. Okay. So, a good place to start.
Yeah. And I saw this comment from Jerry Kimberlin, a Vietnam vet, had both hips replaced and pending knee replacement due to arthritis. Latest hip replacement, pending knee replacement, diagnosed by the VA. None of which was apparent while in service. And again, like you said, Justin, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are things that possibly, yes, they weren't issues during your service, but it doesn't mean that if you're not service connected for a lumbosacral issue like I was, right, the lumbar, and then you kind of build off of that with secondaries. So the question is worth pursuing? Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. At least doing the discovery call and seeing what can possibly be brought about as far as a strategy with a coach. So.
totally. Yeah. And I think that'll dovetail into this next comment I saw in the chat as well from Marlena Morgan, right? The problem I'm encountering is trying to obtain private medical documentation. Most doctors and hospitals are not retaining medical records beyond 10 years. I was in service over 25 years ago, never went to sick call, right? So, first off, Marlena, I just want to tell you, you're not alone in that. That's a story we hear often, right? It happens to a lot of people. Hey, I never went to sick call, I never got checked out. I can't get my medical records. We're here to meet you at where you're at, right? We're not expecting you to have all your documents or to be perfect on that, when we work together, right? So, I would highly recommend signing up for the elite program, getting with a coach to talk about that as soon as you can. Sometimes you might have more than you realize, right? And again, yeah, it can be difficult obtaining that private medical evidence and things like that. And, that's something we can definitely talk about. But I don't want you to feel that just because you never went to sick call, that you don't qualify for disability. You definitely can, right? There's a lot on the table. We just kind of have to figure out what that's going to be. Okay.
Exactly. And I wanted to follow that one up with Patricia Johnson Daniels. How can I get a call in? That link that just came up for the free discovery call is a good way. You could also sign up directly with myself or Justin. And then also, if you go to, vaclaimsinsider.com, it'll kind of give you a rundown of, what our service is and who's available, and some contact information there too. So,
right on. Yeah. And just to cover it again, because I don't think we could ever talk about this enough: strategy, education, medical evidence, right? This is what we're here to help figure out, So I know, like I said, we're here to meet you where you're at. Some of you might already have the medical evidence you need. Some of you might even have a solid strategy coming to us, but you're just trying to figure out, well, what are the other missing parts I need to fill in, right? And a lot of individuals I speak to are already highly educated on what's going on, and it's just they're unfamiliar with the claims process itself, right? There's a lot of little ins and outs and tiny things that tiny details that you might miss when it comes to the claims process. Especially, I would say something that really throws people off in this process is getting a denial, right? I want to be very clear. When you get a denial for a claim, it doesn't necessarily, it's no reflection on your character or what you're claiming. Okay. They're not trying to tell you that what you're dealing with isn't true or that you didn't go through it. It just might be that you're missing a couple things here and there that would have helped to support the claim and make it more clear for whoever needs to see that. Right. On top of that, we love the VA, right? They provide this service and possibility for disability, right? But sometimes they make mistakes. We're all human. It happens. And that's a large part of what we can do is to help identify what those mistakes might be and how to reattempt some of these claims, right? So just to throw an encouragement out there, the disability process, it starts and ends with you as an individual, right? So, if you stop in the claims process, the whole claims process is done, right? But as long as you keep getting up, keep going through it, eventually you'll get where you need to go, right?
yeah, and I always tell my veterans, I give myself as an example because I'm still in the fight. Been denied several times, but I know I have the right evidence and I deserve it, so I'm not going to quit.
Right.
And I always try to give them that encouragement, by empathizing with them. I totally understand. It's frustrating sometimes. And then I wanted to point out a question or a comment from a Facebook user. I have arthritis, but yet when I filed was denied and told I was too young to have arthritis. So there's a couple things in there, right? If you do sign up and you get assigned a coach, we can look through that together and see if there's any errors, right? It seems to me like that's pretty vague, and it may be a good strategy and some medical evidence that could be gathered, would make it a successful claim. But that would only be if you can do that discovery call and see if this is a good fit for you, right? Or sign up with one of us. I've seen circumstances like this, throughout working with VACI. So I think signing up would be a good option, to see if we can get you to the right successful place.
Yeah. Definitely. And I just wanted to throw out another general piece of knowledge that I wanted to cover earlier, but we're talking about a lot of things, right? So
Yeah.
going back to, if any of you individuals on this call are going in for a CMP for any of these musculoskeletal conditions we're talking about, right? Neck pain, back pain, lumbosacral, right? Arthritis. When they do those, when range of motion test is performed on you, make sure they're using the proper equipment. Okay. So there's something called a gomiometer. It looks like a protractor. It's something like this to help, test the flexion or figure out the angle on how much your range of motion is limited by, right? This is really an important factor in determining what the rating will be in your claim. So, when you're in that CMP, be observant, right? Make sure they're using the equipment on you, and make sure they're using it properly, right? If someone's holding a goniometer from 3 feet away trying to figure out the angle on which you're able to flex, and that's not going to be the proper perspective, right? It should be right up against you, if possible. So these are all little factors to pay attention to, right? So pay attention to that. Be honest to what your range of motion is. Okay. Don't fight through the pain. Make sure they're using the proper equipment. It's all really important.
Yeah. And all of this is information that us as coaches will coach along the veterans that we have through the process, and the elite membership. And like you said, every case is specific to that veteran. Not one is the same as the other. So that one-on-one coaching comes in hand. And any of those musculoskeletal conditions that we discussed today, along with others, right? Because there's a lot. There's a lot out there. We're just kind of talking about the most common ones today.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could definitely get into a lot more specific, as an elite member and a one-on-one with a coach. So definitely, I know I am glad that I was able to become an elite member when I did, and hopefully, a lot of vets out there can do the same and reap the benefit of getting what they deserve.
Yeah. And Eddie, you're really close, right? You're almost at 100%.
Almost,
Right
almost,
on.
yeah. Yeah, and I don't think I would have been at this point, if it wasn't for VACI. I would have probably quit a while ago. And that's another thing too. We're here to encourage you. Um, a lot of us are vets and or friends or family of vets, so we can all empathize with the struggle of uh, some of this denial process and all that stuff. So you're not alone, right? So definitely get a hold of us, see if it's a good fit, and um, definitely want to help as many vets as we can. You know.
Right on. Right on. Yeah. And yeah, just like Eddie was saying, these are just this is the topic at hand today, right? Talking about arthritis, back pain, cervical strain. There's a ton of conditions out there, right? Chances are, if you're dealing with something, there is a possibility to claim for it, right?
Hmm.
But again, I can't reiterate this enough. If you have 20 conditions you're thinking about working on as a claim, if none of those conditions are diagnosed, get to the doctor, talk to them about those conditions, make sure that your doctor recognizes what you're dealing with. And hey, don't just go in there and tell them you have this or that. Really explain your life, right? Explain how this condition is affecting you on a daily basis. What's going on? How frequently is it bothering you? How painful, how bad does it get? What does that pain feel like, right? When Eddie was talking earlier about the sciatica, it wasn't just that it hurts, right? But like you were saying, it's like lightning's like run through your body almost, correct?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So be descriptive, give them the context of what you're experiencing so that, they have a reason to talk further with you about the condition, right? So,
For sure.
yeah.
For sure. And then I wanted to kind of recap everything before we close it out because we're about 5 minutes out from the hour, and just wanted to give everybody again the VACI process, right? The STEAM method: strategy,
Yep.
education, and medical evidence. Those are all the things that you can expect, from a coach, along with one-on-one coaching for your specific strategy, and also coaching through the submission process of your claim, and then the CMP preparation. Um, and then if you want to touch on some of the live classes that we have throughout the
Oh yeah.
week.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Give me 1 second. Let me just pull something
Yes.
up for myself real quick. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
So
think you're pulling up the calendar, right? So that's
correct.
something that's
Yeah.
included. Yep.
Definitely. So, when you sign up with us, when you're as a part of the elite program, you have access to all the classes that we offer throughout the month, right? And like Coach Eddie was talking about earlier, at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, we have coffee with the coaches. It's one of the best ways in, right? If you are starting with us, you're not sure what the community is like or what we offer and what things are like with us. Highly recommend checking out Coffee with the Coaches because you'll get a good sense for what we're like as a group and what what we're like together, right? Commonly we have these Facebook Live events every Wednesday, right? So if you're joining us here, hey, join us again for next Wednesday when you can. Plenty of classes. The Mental Health Monday class, if any of you are ever considering whether or not mental health is something that you want to approach or get more information on, that's a great class to attend, right? And aside from that, one of my favorite classes is the CMP prep courses, right? So CMP stands for Compensation and Pension Exam. It's the last part of the disability process, right? When you're working on your claim. And Eddie, as you know, and we always say, it is the most important day in
Yep.
your claims process, right? So, definitely a fantastic class to attend when you're a part of the elite program with us. Right. So,
Yeah.
offer these multiple times a week, and you can attend as many classes as you want, right? There's no cap to that. Right. So, the better educated you are on your claim, the more successful it will be.
And you said it right. It's your claim. It shouldn't
Yeah.
be more important than for the vet, doing the work and doing the process. We're here to coach you through, and coach you along. So definitely taking ownership of it and seeing it all the way through is definitely another aspect of it. So, man, I was glad to be with you here today, Justin. It was
Definitely.
good seeing you
Likewise.
again. It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get back together soon and teach another class. And till next time, I hope everybody has a great day and learn something today. And hopefully we'll get some vets that will make some calls and hopefully meet with us soon.
Right on. Yeah. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. It's been a real pleasure. And likewise, Eddie, it's always awesome getting to hang with you.
Yeah, man.
All
Well,
right.
we'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.